escaping the Wisp gank, or a Disruptor, which is always fun against Wisp. But on the other side, for 3, you can't play aggressive tri-lanes unless you are very, very sure that you're going to kill. You can't play a 1v1 matchup where either you want to dive or you expect to be dived.
Right.
Because, for example, we see Tree Van and Weaver Van. If you see Tree and Weaver, now that Weaver can make your life impossible under your tower, and there's pretty much nothing that you can do about it. Just the fact that there's a tree in your lane, not even your lane, just in the game.
In the game. Yeah.
Forces you every lane to work differently. You can't trade for hits. Mid lane is completely different because you can't just hope to get an auto attack for an auto attack because the tree, like the armor, will regen you so fast. So I actually value that hero quite a lot.
Yeah, you talked about the laning stage. I mean, a little bit more underrated part of him is during the kind of more mid-game when teams decide to trade towers in terms of pushes. Living armor makes those pushes a lot slower for the enemy teams. If you don't get the tower, well, it's going to go back to full HP. So there's definitely a ton of utility for that particular hero, but we're not going to see that hero here today as it is being banned out by LGDint Gaming. We do see Queen of Pain being selected, most likely as a solo mid. We've seen a lot of Darkseer yesterday from LGD China, particularly as a solo mid position. We definitely seen Alchemist in the past. I personally believe that Queen of Pain will beat both of them. So, unless Zenith throws something else against Queen of Pain mid.
Darkseer does okay against Queen of Pain, I think. I mean, it loses in terms of harass, but Darkseer
and denies.
But Darkseer will still get what he wants. I was going to call the Naga Siren, Jesus! Why did
okay,
they stop?
we got like 11 more games. Calm down.
No, but I knew that Naga Siren was coming. You know, you see Jakiro, you see Darkseer, and I mean Alchemist helps to the boot, but I thought Naga Siren was perfect because the thing that you can do with Naga Siren and Jakiro is that you can sleep and then land the perfect ice path when you go there, and it's such a Zenith playstyle. I'm not sure if this is a Zenith lineup because I haven't followed them a lot recently, so I don't know if they've done this in the past. But this is something that Zenith have to do. Like, imagine right now you have a Darkseer Vacuum, you have into Ice Path. That's just 2 heroes that work really well. Vacuum into Unstable Concoction, really well. You have Song of the Siren into Ice Path. So it's pretty much, you don't need all these heroes to make a huge wombo combo with all the combinations. Just you have 2 of these 4 heroes do something okay, and you pretty much won every single team fight. Now, the fighting capability of Zenith right now is super strong. In fact, the Song of the Siren, if you can pop it at the time when Lifestealer pops Rage, you can single him out and take him out pretty easily, or at least force him to use Infest.
I'm glad you brought up all these different avenue of path of initiation. I mean, bring up like the Hexagon. They had a 6 in execution. Sometimes they 5-0 their enemy teams in terms of team fight. Other times, well, things get a little bit sketchy. But when you have the wide array of initiation that Zenith does, and they have pretty decent synergy with Acid Spray, with the minus armor being provided by Naga Siren. I love the net being able to prevent Queen of Pain from blinking. It will go through Rage, so you will still shut down Lifestealer. I feel like this particular pick adds a lot of reach, particularly against LGD China's, or LG International, excuse me, against their heroes.
I'm glad that you said reach, because one of the weaknesses of Zenith lineup right now is that they have no range
Well,
whatsoever.
you have Ice Path, you have Vacuum,
yeah, but I mean, in terms of laning stage, you have 3 melee heroes, and
yeah, that's an
very,
issue
very kind of weak range.
3 melee heroes against Lifestealer, particularly. So.
Yes, and I'm positive that we'll see the Lifestealer with the Visage and Rubik, and that can pretty well be an offensive tri-lane. And if they decide to offensive tri-lane against the Jakiro, Naga Siren, and whatever else they decide to go, they will force them to play very passively right now. And in terms of the laning phase, I'm giving right now the advantage to LGD without seeing those last 2 picks.
I mean, Visage kind of automatically give it to you when you have Lifestealer, one of the more difficult heroes to pick up earlier. Importantly, they ban out the Tinker, which is what LD talked about previously during the kind of the pre-game show. XY plays it very well, and generally it's so hard to offensive trialing against a Tinker because you try to make that dive, and he puts down the March. And if there's any way to help that Tinker out, you're probably dying. And we're going to see a Razer coming out from Zenith, which isn't too surprising considering it's Zenith. It's more surprising if they don't pick a kind of crazy hero. And particularly, this hero is often held as a Nyx counter, a Lifestealer counter, because Static Link will go through the Rage and it will steal damage. More importantly, it works perfectly with net.
Yes.
You Link, you net, and he has no damage. Like
Razer is a great hero against Lifestealer, just in the laning phase. Assuming the Lifestealer, if you want to get the Lifestealer solo lane, you can pretty much offlane Razer against him, and he'll thrash that lane. Possibly that will not happen right now, but even if you have a skirmish, if you have a fight, now Razer gives you the range. He gives you this kind of zone where you don't want to get close, because you don't have to lifelink the not lifelink, sorry, static link the lifestealer. You just static link whoever, and you force that hero to zone out.
Right.
And that's what Zenith needs right now. He needs a hero that can create the space in the early skirmishes before going 5v5. And we see a Luna from LGD Gaming International, and that will be probably the safe laner.
Or solo mid. I mean,
Or solo mid.
yeah, you
as
could
well.
run it
But you
wherever
have a
you
point
want.
of
I think they have a ton of laning versatility. So
it's Spycat going on the Luna right now.
so that's most likely their safe lane.
Yep.
Um,
Unless they decide to try with the Luna, but I think they will want to try with the Lifestealer.
the thing I do want to mention is that Link also work in sleep.
Yes.
So you could get some like crazy.
Link works with anything. You can like Shadows Demon Disruption,
Yep. You could
World
Astral
Devourer.
Imprisonment. Like
Exactly.
you could nightmare them. They don't even need to be on the map. Link, if it finds you, it is like the herpes of Spuff. It just does not go away.
That's how it is.
Meanwhile, we do have waiting for Zenith to come back here to pick. So I'm not sure if they're pausing or not.
There's a disconnection. Let me see if... No, just random disconnection.
Okay, so you were saying the LG Gaming has the better laning phase.
I still agree.
You still agree?
I
You
still
don't think Razer is going to change anything in that scenario?
No, I think it's going to give him at least that lane. I'm pretty sure they're going to try and solo that Razer, just based on the fact that he does nothing in a tri lane.
I think he's probably one of the best tri lane heroes because
I disagree, but let's go with your idea.
I mean, well, let's talk about why I think he's actually. Are we having a remake here?
Nope, it's just people
Okay.
reconnecting.
Well, let's talk about Razer particularly. I feel like Razer as a hero, because his nuke hits such a wide amount,
Yeah.
and generally people don't actually get his passive early. So let's forget about that point. But I think with Link alone, you talked about how you need to zone people out. Generally, let's say if we're focusing on the enemy carry, for example, and if you link a support, that support has to back off.
Yes.
I just feel like he has two great AoE spell. Link may not seem like an AoE spell, but he really is because they force people to run back and forth. And the Nova just does a ton of damage. Or not Nova, the lightning
Plasma field.
plasma field. He's one of the faster heroes in terms of chasing hero down. And it's hard to burst him down, I feel like, with the magic stick.
I think that I actually see him in a very different way. I think point and passive is kind of important on that hero because it means that he can farm a tri lane aggressively, and you can't go on him because whoever just throws the first spell will not be able to approach him properly. So he gives this kind of safety that no one can jump on you unless they have a kind of spell that, like a gap closer kind of spell, which we don't have any. But I still think that the hero shines when he gets a solo lane, when he gets quick levels, because as much as that plasma field hits everyone, and of course every AoE spell makes you stronger in a tri lane, he kind of needs the levels.
He does. I don't disagree with that. Talking about the gap closer, I do believe that in this particular game, you want to early point into your passive. Simply, if you look at heroes like Visage, who nukes every other second, Queen of Pain, every single hero here has a single target initiation spell against you. So it's almost a freebie to just take it at level 4 or something like that and just run with it. Although,
well, we see Freedom playing the Alchemist right now, and Yamate playing the Razor. So
we don't know if they're doing any sneaky swapping moves yet.
I kind of don't like much the idea that you can swap.
Yeah, you don't. I mean,
if I was Ice guy, I would.
Which you are.
I'm just saying, I would probably try to change the fact that CM you shouldn't be able to swap, because I mean, as much as I find the idea of mind gaming cute, I don't think it really adds much to the game. It's just like if you want to,
it's like a tricksy thing that
if you want to make them guess, just wait a little bit more until you pick the hero, right? It's just some mechanic that does not. I think it makes sense because if you want to play CM like in a matchmaking pub or something like that, you will probably not have the coordination to actually get everyone the hero. The ones like, oh no, suddenly I can't play this hero, please give me Shadow Demon or something like that.
Right.
So you kind of need to swap. But I find it kind of silly. I hope they're not. I mean, if they're going with this, actually it makes perfect sense, because you have Freedom playing potentially a support Alchemist, you have Yamate playing a carry Razer, and you have Ice potentially going mid with the Naga Siren, something that I've seen quite a lot in the Western scene as well, and it's very annoying right now because 10-second cooldown on Riptide on level 1, if I recall correctly.
Yep, it is.
it's 130 damage at level 1.
Mhm.
And it kind of hurts because it takes away your armor. You can't trade hits against Naga Siren. And Naga Siren does very well with the bottle because it's just 80 mana. You don't need to level up that skill very, very fast because it scales okay-ish. But 80 mana every 10 seconds for a 130 damage spell is quite a lot for a mid lane.
To me, it depends on who he's up against or she's up against. If you're going up against the Queen of Pain, I think that's
Yeah,
going to be a little bit hard as a melee hero. You do have 5 base armor, so that's going to nullify a little bit of Queen of Pain.
And you have a huge movement speed.
Right, which doesn't matter too much if you eat a Shadow Strike. But the movement speed does matter if you're running up and down the hill and then try to use fog to your advantage. But yeah, I agree with mostly what you said. It's a nice AoE spam that pushes a wave. You could go to the runes a little bit quicker. And the minus armor is pretty big in terms of helping you push. But I want to talk about the minus armor during mid game. Because you have Acid Spray, you have the Riptide, and let's not forget that Eye of Storm from Razer does also do minus armor per strike.
Yes.
So you do have a ton of minus armor to work with. And I feel like this game, just with the minus armor alone, goes fairly late. Do you look towards LGD.int going into items like early mech? It's almost a must in this situation. Early Vlads would be very helpful.
Medallion on the visage, actually.
Sure.
I think that's the thing that they have to aim for, because if you get a quick medallion on the visage, just because you have 2 powerful right clickers in Luna and Lifestealer, you can pretty dominate whatever lane you're going for. And if you just dominate with those heroes, you might also want to get some early towers as well, something that Zenith can't do as much.
Yeah, I feel like the early medallion will be very good against a hero like an alchemist who prizes itself a ton of HP, not necessarily our armor. Same thing with Darkseer here. We're still having a series of connection and disconnects. So, well, Bruno, how do you like the state so far? We did a little bit of grocery shopping. You want to tell a story about that?
Okay, so first of all, I have to say that I'm feeling myself at home. Like, I live in Stockholm right now, and there's a bit of language barrier.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to be again in a country whose main language is Spanish.
Yeah.
Because apparently that is
In LA, that's pretty true.
That's pretty much what's happening.
Yeah.
But I have to be impressed. I think we bought 48 cans of soda for $10.
For $10.
And it's not like random soda. It's like Pepsi brand.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't understand how.
I'm pretty much a Coke guy, so to me that's a random brand.
Yeah, it's fine. It's not just like LA Cola or something like that.
Nothing wrong with LA Cola. I don't know, man.
Is it a thing?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay. I was like, oh, I offended someone randomly. But no, it's pretty nice. I think America is, of course, it's not my first time here. It's not, I've been here quite a few times, but it's always this very overwhelming country with lots of things to see and things that draw your attention.
Yeah.
And I guess going into a supermarket or grocery store is always a fun
experience.
experience.
Last time we almost lost AUI or AUI in the supermarket.
Why?
Because he's like a
so
small
small.
town California or Canadian boy, and he went to Target and it's like,
Yeah.
oh my God, there's more than 3 aisles. Where's everything? So we had to like text him to find him. But
Unbelievable.
you're a big boy,
I'm a big boy.
so we
I
could
know.
have.
And we had DPM
Yeah.
taking us around.
Shout out to DPM. We have more than enough snacks.
To last a year. Oh, well,
More
no,
like
no,
2.5
2
days.
days.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure we're gone.
No, but it really is. We stocked on so much stuff. It's amazing. So no, but I'm really happy to be here. I really mean it. A good change in the weather for me. Summer in Sweden is not as bad as people think. It's still something like.
That's not what I heard from you.
Well, I mean, okay.
Apparently there's 4 hours of sun.
No. In summer, during summer, you have 4 hours of night,
Okay.
and
Which doesn't sound good to me.
it's okay. It's endurable. I mean, it's a bit annoying to sleep unless you have blinds and something like that. You can't have a very open space. But I mean, it goes to 20-25 degrees Celsius, which is like in the 80s.
Yeah.
So nice weather,
Yeah.
but not super nice.
Okay.
But you come here and you see the sun. Also something, we are at the game, but I want to round up that idea, which is being in the Pacific, you get to see the sunset, which is something that you don't get to see in the Atlantic side of the world, which you get to see the sunrise. And I think sunsets are more
Romantic.
yeah,
More Bruno-esque.
exactly.
All right,
That's my thing.
Let's jump into game. Pycat will be playing Luna here. We do have Brax playing the Lifestealer. Brax has been kind of moving back and forth in terms of 3-row as well as 4-row. Might be an offlane lifestealer, we'll see. Misery's going to be playing the Rubik here, support obviously, and then we're going to have Queen of Pain being played by G, and last but not least, we're going to have Aaron, or 1437, playing his usual support Visage.
Right, and for the side of Zenith, we have X-Freedom going to play the support Alchemist, just a Tango and a Salve. He's been pulling a lot. The other support, Ice, not Ice, just Ice, with Wars, playing the Jakiro. Then we have Yamate or NWP. Do you know what NWP stands for, by the way?
That's his actual name, the 3 initial of his real
Oh,
name.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, that makes sense.
I will try not to pronounce it.
NG, Po,
Yeah,
something like that. I don't know. But yeah, you're correct. Playing the Razer. The Naga Siren will be Ice going mid against the Queen of Pain. That's going to be interesting. And XY, no, is it I don't know. Everyone's standing like close to mid right now. XY might be mid or might be the offlane playing the Darkseer.
So I got a quick question for you, because you definitely seen this a lot more than I have.
Yes.
The support Alchemist, what does it exactly aim to do? I imagine you get quick levels, and do you go gank? Do you just hit 6?
You pretty much, what you want to do is pop Acid Spray and Unstable Concoction. Remember that Unstable Concoction is physical damage.
Right.
So if you pop the Acid Spray first, or at least what the projectile is traveling, you get lots of extra spell damage with that.
So you run out of jungle to gank?
But you just, yeah, you're pretty much a guy with a stun. Think of him like a Vengeful Spirit in a way. But also, the fact that you can transition into farming later means that if you have a carry like Razer or someone that wants to just not stay in a lane, but rather do something in a team fight, you can allocate maybe 5 minutes of farming to that Alchemist so he can get a mech or something that's not going to be a super carry item, but will help the team much more than whatever a Vengeful Spirit or another random support will be able to farm.
Right, so let's particularly talk about the tri-lane up top here. It's going to be a Lifestealer tri-lane with Visage and the Rubik against a Razer, and you talked about the support Alchemist, and now Jakiro. I particularly feel that the offensive tri-lane is going to have a little bit more of advantage here. There's nothing that they actually could do against Lifestealer. If the 2 supports decide to go roam and harass the mid lane, they actually can't kill Lifestealer, and that gives Lifestealer a lot of advantage in this lane. He might not farm as much. As we see.
Yes.
1437 using a very expensive soul assumption for a creep sale, but actually
it's experience, man.
Yeah, it's worth
gold.
it. Yeah,
it's
especially for support. But yeah, I particularly think that LG is going to have the advantage in this tri lane. They're not going to be aiming to kill too much, although you definitely can with a hero like Visage.
Yes, absolutely. But the thing is, as much as you say that you can't do much against the Lifestealer, what you can do is with that static link, and I'm glad he went 1 point in the stable current, because he will not, they will not be able to go on Razer. The fact is that if Lifestealer jumps on you, you just static link him.
Yeah.
And he will not be able to do much about it.
He actually has to run from you. That's kind of the ironic thing.
That's how it works. And now there's a small pause in the game, apparently. Misery is going to make sure that he can't take the rune, but that I find this very interesting. Ice just sends 1 illusion there. So either Misery will have to take the rune himself, or the Naga Siren will deny it, which is lots of control against the Queen of Pain that haven't spent much mana, but it's taking some damage right now.
Yep. Also, if you want to look at the bot lane here, Zenith, you do see XY basically creep skipping. You could also even pull the creep wave into the big camps and basically farm both camps at once. And what that's going to force Pycats to do is going to burn a little bit of tangles under tower, which is not going to matter too much, because once she gets into Tranquil Boots, she's going to have absolutely easy time lasting under the tower with her insane boosted damage. As I say that, though, misses CS.
Yeah. By the way, I'm the guy handling the camera, so direct your flames to me, please. I think this is the first time I'm actually handling a camera, so it's going to be fun.
Yeah, Bruno sat down on the main PC. He's like, hey, Lumi, don't you want to sit here? I was like, nope, you got that one. No first blood will be missed by me today.
Nope. And I'll see if I'll try to miss the first blood, just because it's a tradition. No, not really. But as I say that, there's lots of contesting for the farm up top. We see Darkseer doing pretty well. Of course, it's expected for Darkseer that's creep skipping, but also we see Luna doing okay against him as well, and Razer beating the Lifestealer 13-2 versus 9-2. But they're contesting the pulls, and the support are getting something as well, with E4 and 3 in Visage and Rubik. So
I think Zenith is trying to make a run here. They're going to probably focus on Misery. They do lift him up, they toss him back, but the first blood's going to happen on the bot lane. Meanwhile, back on top, Misery is going to get linked up. Dual Breath is on top, and they're doing all the nukes. They can focus on Jakiro. Jakiro's running to the north, and long range of Soul Assumption. Going to get the kill. Meanwhile, the rebuttal kill being picked up by Yamate. He's chasing Brax away. Brax does have 1 as well as 5, Magic Stick as well as the Brown Boots, so he should be fine. 1-for-1 trade, but more importantly, a solo kill happening. What I did not expect, but on the mid lane, I presume.
I think it was who killed what? Who actually?
No, it was Bot. I
Oh
think.
wow, you have the console here. It's not my binding. Okay, never mind. I wanted to show this, which is Luna got a solo kill on XY.
That could
Just
only
got-
happen if Darkseer is making that dive and Pika just out-juked him. I have
Probably
no idea how
miscalculated.
Darkseer would die against Luna. And
Yeah.
well, he's getting actually chased around. You gotta keep in mind that Luna does have Eclipse, so if XY's
Yeah.
a little bit out of
Has to
position.
be a bit careful, but it's okay because he now has
Attack.
the creep wave, and I don't think that's much of a big deal, even though he was the first blood. The thing that will matter is what happens in this top lane, because Luna will get farm no matter what, will get gold no matter what. Of course, she's going for what right now? She's got a Tranquil Boots and 1k gold, but I mean, her options are open right now. It's more interesting to see whether the Lifestealer will be able to join her in terms of what he can do. Because the Darkseer has now transitioned to the jungle and say, I don't want to do that script skipping anymore because an Eclipse will kill me.
Yep. You also may actually be putting a little bit of pressure mid lane against the Queen of Pain, although that's going to be hard, considering that it is the Queen of Pain. I'm looking at this big creep stack here, and I see you've been looking at it for a long time, so whoever gets this big stack is going to have a humongous lead. And when you have heroes like Jakiro as well as, I guess, an Acid Spray on Alchemist, you could try to force in a fight there, maybe even take it, although neither of those nukes are high level enough to really kind of force that kill. And I guess LG could easily come in with a Fable and seal it. So this is going to definitely be a big point of contention there, as basically that's a 4-stack camp.
But that's, I mean, that's what you want to do when you're in offensive tri-lane, especially when you're playing Radiant. If you are Dire, you probably would not be able to do that in the position the Darkseer is. You can't steal a camp into your crypts. But if you're Radiant, you have to do that. It's some kind of small advantage that you have when you're playing that. You can try and steal the camps, and that's a lot of gold, as you say, a lot of experience. But it also opens the battlefield. It means that people will try to fight for that camp, and you'll have more kills normally, just because people will probably stand in the wrong place at the wrong moment and pay for it, of course.
Yeah, it looks like they're pinging about that big camp, trying to at least farm these creeps, although those shockwave creeps are definitely doing a big number on all of the heroes that are surrounding nearby. Darkseer is still moving all around the jungle. We do see some sort of pseudo-passive in this from both teams, which is, to me, is surprising, because I feel like LG should be forcing a little bit more action, especially on heroes like Jakiro and Alchemist, who are a little bit tanky early on, but when you have nukes like Soul Assumption, when you have the disable being provided by Rubik and Lifestealer, I think you could definitely force those kills. And I think they might happen right now as Brax has picked up his phase boot. That's generally the point that where Lifestealer is probably where he's strongest in lane. With that said, though, he's only level 4, and he hasn't put his 4th point into his skill. I wonder if it's going to be an early open wounds for a little bit extra initiation range, or well, we'll see.
I don't think they need the open wounds at the moment right now if you have Visage and Rubik. The only thing that you need is a Rubik to catch someone. But I'm pretty sure that they don't want to jump into an Ice Path, a level 2 unstable concoction, and of course a level 2 static link, which steals about 14 damage per second.
Freedom's low because of, here comes the open wound. The Raging gonna dodge through, and Brax is gonna take 1 kill. They're gonna slow down right on Jakiro. They lift him up, they toss him back as well. Do they have enough? Yes, they do. The Surge is not gonna bring them out, but the Link is gonna take away all of Brax's damage. Misery, he is gonna go down to a Soul Assumption. XY's here, and no, A-round of 1437 stay for too long. Naga comes around with the backstab with the haste rune. That's gonna be 1 more kill. He has more, he could chase for more. Brax, though, some ninja plays next to the neutrals, and he is going to be fine. But really good rotation coming out from Naga Siren. And when you rotate away from a Queen of Pain, you don't lose much. It's not like she's going to push down her tower, and she's going to come right back thanks to the haste rune, and now farm even more.
Yep. And she decides not to go for the net right now. She knows that he can't kill God, so he decides to just go back and farm a little bit. Nice rotation, as you said. It could have been really, really bad for Zenith. That started with 2 deaths straight away. But that static link stole a lot of HP, which allowed them to just get back into the game a little bit more.
Ooh, they see Brax right here, and nice vacuum backwards. They could even use sleep, but the ensnare wall, you cannot rage dodge that one. There's a link coming out, and Brax is going to try to fight his way out. They're not going to do so. Naga's going to die to the Queen of Pain. Queen of Pain blinks away, but that's another kill going towards Zenith. It's 5-5, but to me, Zenith has a better rotation. But the bigger thing is that Pycat has absolute free farm. It's going to be phase, or not phase. Oh, going to be going for a solo kill. What a play here, and the power of vision. How do you even know that he's coming down here? There was no wards apart from this particular one.
Well, remember that Luna has longer night range.
That's true.
Pretty much the thing. He can see you before you can see her. So straight there, Eclipse is enough to take the Xer away. Of course, he also needs to use one Lucent Beam. But that's okay, because he has the mana now that he has the
top lane.
Now they're going on Yamate, but can you actually go on Yamate? That's the thing. Look at that. Brax can't do anything right now, and he's 147 x 203. Look at the damage.
Yeah, and well, it's like you said, man. Razer is very deceptively tanky, especially with such an early drum being finished. You talked about the power of his unstable current being able to slow down targets, and Visage dropping a couple of nukes, and he died as well. The big thing for me is that they dove despite the Link being on top of Rax, and that just doesn't work out for you. And we're seeing the early defensive and offensive power of that unstable Link.
Yeah, and see now, their Freedom is getting some farm. Of course, he doesn't have grid yet, but it's very good to just say, okay, Alchemist, you can get a little bit of farm, because you can do very well with that. You can go a mech if you want. You can go so many things, because let's face it, Jakiro is not going to go for a mech. And Darkseer is opting to go for a chainmail. Maybe he goes for one, but it's kind of rare to start with a chainmail, maybe because he's going against a Luna, and maybe he wants to neutral farm a little bit.
Yeah,
but yeah, I don't know. I mean, Alchemist has lots of options for him. He doesn't need to go for the Abyssal Blade and just Midas every single game. So it's going to be interesting what Freedom decides to do with the little bit of farm he's getting right now. But Yamate, back to the lane, and Freedom, you go back to the jungle now.
Yeah, XY is definitely having some sort of tough time on the bot lane. I mean, he gave away now 2 solo kills to Luna. For example, if you have a complete free farm Darkseer in a 1v1 situation, you pick up your mech around 13 minutes in, or even sometimes 12 minutes in. I don't think XY is going to meet that mark in this game, and Pycat is going to be a big factor. Once the Luna hits I want to say level 11 with level 2 Eclipse, particularly with 1 or 2 key items, he could lead his entire team to push. But back in the mid lane, a big fight breaks out here. The Sun's going to come through against G, and G is going to go down. Misery is going to be the next target. Are we going to have a cooldown for those spells? Song of Siren coming out from afar, and well, they are going to surround, and they will definitely kill Misery.
Look at the Ice Path now.
There's going to be Ice Path on top. The support TP did come in. Well, will that be enough? Your Misery down to about quarter HP. The net comes in, but there's no follow-up. X-Freedom tanking up as a support hero. I think he's going to be fine as well. Aaron's not going to have enough souls coming out for that nuke, and well, no harm, no foul.
Yep, and that's the power of the, as we said, the combination of any of 2 of these heroes. You have Sleep into a perfectly channeled unstable concoction. You have the Ice Path as well. And as I have to say, the ability of this guy to dominate, and he's going to die as I say that, maybe.
Yeah, he's
totally dead. But the ability to control the rooms with his illusions every single time, that Queen of Pain never had a harder time trying to get those rooms, because of course he can pop the illusions way before the 2 minutes mark. And now we see Yamate trying to go on Brax, and he's going to be okay. Brax is going to escape, but he has no damage, and look at now, he can get every single asset he wants. Yamate is a happy puppy when he's playing against Lifestealer.
I think Yamate maybe could have even went for the kill if he popped the drums charge. I mean, he would have been diving on a tower, which probably wasn't too aggressive, but you know, could have went for it. But back in the mid lane here, it's going to be LGD putting some offense, and I think these towers are fairly important, especially when you have a Luna that's farming so well, because once that Luna joins you for pushes, you're not just pushing down these tier 1 towers, you're pushing for tier 2, and it's going to grant you a ton of space for Roshan fights a little bit later on. Speaking of that Luna, already at 2,500 go. Once LGD gets a BKB on that Luna, I think Zenith is going to have a very tough time dealing with that push, because by that time, I don't think Darkseer is going to have the mech yet. As I say that though, he's only about 700 go away. I think BKB is going to be the big item that LG is waiting for the big push.
Interestingly enough, I think that LGD.int needs to just get those early towers. I said that in the draft. I think it's part of the game plan. With that lineup against that little counter push that Zenith has at the moment, you have to make sure that you get those early towers. You rely on Lifestealer and Luna to get as much advantage as you can in the early game stage, because you know that late game they are really powerful. But if you don't get
in the mid lane here, they want Ice. He does not have his sleep right now. They're going to try to burst him down. The Link's going to go on right on Brax, but here comes Yamate right in the middle of that fight, and 1437 is going to get blown up. X-Freedom landing his stun. Absolutely beautiful on a couple of heroes. And Brax, well, he's running up north, but here comes Yamate. He's surged up. Does he have yet another Link? He doesn't. TP out from Brax after a rage. He is going to make it out alive. But that's 2 kills for 1, and you also force a TP out. Unfortunately, they won't get too much out of it. But here's the thing that we haven't really, well, I've been trying to talk about too much, is Pycat is getting way too much farm. He's going to have, what, 14-minute BKB drums and tranquils? What do you do against that kind of farm on Luna?
What the hell? Try a hero. I don't want to try a hero.
What's going on?
I have to try out a hero.
Let's try it out.
I don't want to.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Please.
No, try it out. I want to see how to build Luna.
I don't know. But That's okay. There it went. That was kind of funny. Yeah, now we can sort out. Yeah, as you said, this is what I wanted to point out. The net worth of Paiga is about 1,000 gold over Razer. Of course, Razer was in a Trident, which is very good. And if you compare Razer to Lifestealer, Razer is dominating. But the fact that you can get 6k so fast in Luna is one of those carries that snowballs, because once she levels up these Moonglaves, she'll be able to skyrocket her level of farm. You have to be careful. However, I'm not as worried about her getting a BKB right now, because you still have Song of the Siren, you still have Static Link. This team still has ways to deal with 1 or 2 BKB targets as long as the team is prepared. What they have to worry about is Luna finding you 1v1 as they did Darkseer before, or if she starts picking on supports that are just rotating into the jungle, because that's the moment you have to be worried about. Otherwise, I think Luna still needs 1 more item instead to be scary. And in the meantime, even though they do have the strong late game, the Naga Siren and the Razer are so disruptive, and you have to remember that you also have the Alchemist and the Darkseer, which are not particularly strong because of they're not getting all the farm they desire. But in the late game, once they get a few more items as well, you will have to try to take them off. Otherwise, the vacuum, wall, the stun, just right-click power of a simple Alchemist might be enough.
Top lane here going to be open wounds initiation against Yamate. He gets tossed back right now, down to about half HP. Here comes the mech, and he's still very, very healthy. Luna is on top, but here comes stun. Brax is going to get focused now. Once again, no, he can't run away. Here comes Pycat. Doesn't pop his BKB just yet. Hasn't got delivered to him. XY down to about quarter HP. He gets netted. No BKB. I don't think even BKB will save him there. He also goes down. Yamate, being initiated upon, survives with about a 20% health, and yet they're going to get 1 more kill, even 2 more kill. They want G. The Ice Path is going to be on top. The Sun's followed through. My God, it's going to be a full team wipe up top despite being initiated upon. I do want to point out X-Freedoms. What?
Yamate is godlike.
Yeah.
Already.
What? 904? We're 15 minutes in, guys.
Yeah. I think that hero is paying off. Every single
really? You think so?
I'm not 100% sure. I still do have to do my math, but every single time someone tries to jump on Yamate, and of course it's very tempting to jump on him because he's so pretty.
Right.
But he always static links the right target. He always gets the unstable current on whoever needs to be unstable currented. And suddenly this rotation from the supports is great. The rotation from the Darkseer was perfect. I think the vacuum was key in getting all that they desired. And right now LGD.int has to say, oh, we're in a bit of trouble, because yeah, our Luna was getting all the farm. Our Lifestealer is supposedly a strong hero, but these guys with these unconventional picks, they're beating us. Yeah, and we don't have an answer for this.
I do want to point out Alchemist has a medallion courage, and when you see that projectile flying up and you debuff them with the medallion, it does a ton of damage. You were talking about earlier with Acid Spray applying the minus armor. This is going to do it on the next level. He also is going to go a Staff of Wizardry. Your guess is as good as mine what he's going to go for. Most likely we're going to see something like 4 Staff, really, really good against the likes of Brax. I'm hoping for a Dagon, but you know, that's...
Rod of Atos, man.
Or Rod of Atos, yeah.
It's actually
that sounds pretty good. Yeah, Rod of Atos sounds pretty good to me.
And speaking of things that don't sound pretty good, I see God is going for an Orchid. I'm not sure that's the right call right now.
I think Orchid would have been pretty decent if the game was a little bit more even, or even if they were ahead, and the laning stage didn't go that way. But kind of the bad thing about Orchid is that you get that Staff of Wizardry, or Oblivion Staff, number 1, and the game goes south. Like, what do? Just hold that Oblivion Staff and not go anything else? And go for a Hex?
But even if you get an Orchid, I mean, of course it's really nice to Orchid Darkseer. Somewhat nice to Orchid Jakiro? But I mean, other guys...
If you do it against Alchemist when he's charging his stun, that's not bad. I mean, he's
kind of cute, but it's kind of a gimmick. You can't really know when he's charging. You can kind of hope.
And you're silencing a support Alchemist.
And you're silencing support Alchemist, which is not accomplishing much. Plus the extra damage from the Orchid. All these heroes are tanky. The 2 supports are probably the tankiest heroes. I mean, look at that. Naga Siren, tanky. Darkseer, tanky. The 2 supports, tanky. Razer, not the biggest HP hero in the world, but he has 1.3k now. And you can't just target that guy. Good luck Orchiding him.
Right.
Because you'll be super slow for quite a while.
Well, to be fair, it gives them a very reliable way to gank Naga. Because generally you gank Naga, she pops her ultimate, she TPs out. Can't do that against the Orchid. So it gives them a little bit more initiation power, but again, the way that the game's going so south for LGD, I just don't see that item having a big impact here. And Zenith, as they're kind of winning these team fights, I like them to see them push them down a little bit more towers and then secure the Roshan. That mid tier 1 tower is going to be very, very key at doing so, and unfortunately for them, the tower is sitting at very high amount of HP. They're going to try to force it down though right now.
The thing about Zenith lineup is that they don't need to get the towers fast. They don't need to just rely on the tower gold, because they have a team that can dominate the map no matter what, no matter if the other guys can rotate, because Razer can get away, Naga Siren, as you said, can get away. Darkseer are very escapable heroes, and the two supports are not easy to pick off. So now they probably will take this tower, and they're going to try and trade for this tier 2, but Pika will not be able to destroy it fast enough, and they can go for the tier 2 of the ball if they want to. But the thing is...
Oh, God, trying to pick off a Kerr. He's going to find one. Well, I guess that's a victory.
Oh, I missed it.
Yeah, it's tier 2, tier 1, tier 3 in mid lane.
I wish I could, yeah.
It's all good.
It's fine. Bit cheeky, works. It's a little bit of money. Good time to talk a little bit about the graphs. And look at this. How well LGDint was doing. They were always almost 2.5k in advantage because of those early towers, because of the first blood. Now going 1.5k behind. And the experience graph, of course, not showing as much impact as the gold graph. And that means that most of the gold was in towers and not in last hits and map control in the lanes. And now going 5,000 golds behind for them. Zenith is in control of this game. They, for sure, they didn't win this already, but they are in a pretty safe way. And now if they decide to go for Roshan, suddenly that Luna with Eclipse is not as surprising anymore, because
well, top lane, they're trying to make a gank here, but this is what Sleep of or Song of Siren do. It lets you to TP your entire team in, and well, they're gonna try to fight that. The net's gonna come on Pycat. They say Brax your TP out because we want the bigger, the juicier prize. Pycat pops the BKB, but all these spells that go through the BKB, Yamate beyond God, like he has a BKB of his own to his inventory.
And he's going for an Axe Scepter.
Yeah, Axe Scepter is such a sick item on oh, back in the mid lane here as X Freedom gets lifted up. Is he gonna get Orchid? No, the sun's gonna follow through on G, and G is gonna just melt under the fire and the flames and the ice of Ice Well himself. 1437 is gonna go for some kill. The mech's gonna bring him back up, trying to TP out. No, sir, you don't. Not against an Ice Path, and that's yet another kill. They could just waltz into the Roshan pit, and I think they will. Zenith is in complete control of this game, and I just don't see LG Gaming doing anything to change this, because Darkseer, not only having a mech, he's gonna have a pipe finish very soon. God knows what Alchemist is going for. Well, he spots
God knows? Then he should tell his team.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, he doesn't, because he's contemplating about his death right now in the pit. As he is going to be going for a 4-staff on Alchemist. So I feel like the item progression of Zenith is just miles ahead.
Yeah, it's going very, very well for them. And that advantage that Luna had, absolutely gone right now.
Yep.
They're getting farm in the jungle. They're even getting some farm in the Jakiro, which kind of needs it. He has an Urn, he has Arcane Boots, he has a... That Jakiro is rich for a 5 support. And now I think they're waiting for the Alchemist to go for Roshan, because the Alchemist has a medallion that everyone wants, just because it kills him faster.
Look at Naga. Look at his items. What do you think about this?
I like this.
Yeah.
When you have so much of a level advantage against the supports that are... I'm surprised that I hit the right key in the first time. You have level 8 supports on Rubik and Visage. Just the fact that you have a Naga illusion hitting on you and burning you with the Radiance makes you feel so powerless. And that means that they will have control over the team fights as well. Even more control than they had already. And I mean, if it's going well for you, why not, right?
Yeah.
Radiance is a good item.
I mean, I'm somewhat surprised how big impact Naga had as a solo mid. Not having any single item, right? He just basically went straight Relic Rush, and it wasn't even the quickest Relic Rush. It just shows you how powerful Naga is with her spells alone, and Song of Siren definitely left his mark in this game, using it as to counter-initiate, to counter-gank. We just saw the effects of it defending that top tier
Look at this illusion. Look at this illusion and how it burns the guy's Misery. He probably can die here.
I don't know. They're stunning through it. The Naga coming.
He dies.
Well, yeah, that's pretty OP.
You have to use Grave Chiller Illusion to run away. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sold on this Radiance Naga Siren right now. At least for this game. And look at that, what I was telling Freedom, now getting the farm from the Asians. Now Gribble Grid. It's level 1, but still he gets an extra gold right now.
Sure, yeah.
And the Alchemist will be making an impact, even if he started as a support and 4 position right now, and just getting a little bit of a 3 in terms of getting farm. And Brax, on the other hand, yeah, he has his armlet 23 minutes in. A bracer for some reason, probably going to drums, which didn't really work. There's still no Orchid on the Queen of Pain, and that's a trouble. Because he almost has the money for it, but as you say, what do you do with an Oblivion stuff? That's probably the most useless item by itself in the game.
Well, it gives you some decent damage. Mono regen is always nice, especially on a Queen of Pain that farms. It's not an item that you say you have at 23 minutes, like, yeah guys, great games. It's an item that, you know, it's a decent build-up, to be fair. But
I mean, it gives you pretty much the same as an old talisman.
I agree. I'm saying when you have a Oblivion staff and they have a Radiance on the solo mids, you know, it's just not a fair comparison. But when you're down so much gold and so much EXP, you can't ask for too much. To me, my question is for you, Bruno, what can the Radiant do here? You still have a decently farmed Luna. She could still be snipe the Aegis, which too bad. It's
yeah, they snipe the Roshan, not the Aegis.
Oh.
Snipe the Roshan, yeah. That's a good call, by the way. I wasn't paying attention.
That's a good start, but
it is something. We'll see probably a little bounce.
They sniped the courier before too, but
that's not enough. I don't think it's a term. I don't think at this point it's a matter of gold or advantage. It's just that 6 execution that we saw on the Zenith Hexagon. Just for this game, it's a 9. I think the 6 just flipped because they're doing pretty well. They just are relying on Razer to get the game of its life. I mean, not because Yamada is a bad hero and is a bad player at all, but just because we barely see any Razer players succeed so good. I think this worked really great, and I'm actually happy that they decided to go for the Trident, even though I had my doubts, because it paid off so good. And now Yamate feels like he can go alone by himself and still control the game.
They're gonna try to surge Ice up top, and here, the Song Siren is gonna initiate. And who are they gonna kill first?
Acceptor.
Well, here comes the BKB, and oh my god, the wall's gonna be on top. Misery just melts. Sonic Wave's not gonna do anything thanks to the pipe, and they want Pycat, and Pycat just melts. And here comes the TP out from 1437. Well, the team fight is already completely won. They got a tier 1 and a tier 2 tower out of it. LGDint did, but it's just not enough as a trade. As Zenith adds more kills. Acceptor, like you said, already on top of Razer, and that now will allow them to use that ultimate to siege buildings. So cool stuff.
And that's good because right now all you need is Ice and Yamate in terms of a team fight. If those two survive, let's say a 5v5 fight, the power of those two by themselves to just take down towers, mow down into the opposition will be enough. Even if you only have one of those two or maybe a support, you will be able to do enough damage if you win a team fight. So now LGD.int has to be thinking, we have to win the team fights convincingly. We can't trade even because 2 of our heroes is not enough to stop one of those 2 heroes and 1 random support.
Right, and to me, they don't have the items to win those big team fights. Generally, items are really good at kind of having a lopsided team fight in your favor, or things like Scythe of Ice, having things like a mech pipe combo, having things big or like Vlad's and AC, and the entire team is just not near that level for them to really commend that. So what LG's been doing is like doing tower trades, which is okay. They're doing gank attempts with the Lifestealer Bomb inside of Queen of Pain, which is fine. They haven't really been too successful.
Bottom lane.
And here comes another smoke gank up top. They're basically giving away a free tower, and Brax is being chased away by the entire team. Here we go. Orcus going to start on Ice. This is where Orcus is stronger, but unfortunately, I think why is Ice not TPing out? I think if he TP'd right in the get-go, he might have made it out there. And the Radiance Burn just kills the Queen of Pain.
Unbelievable. 50
damage per second, guys.
Yeah, and now watch this. Watch this bottom tower. And now they have to rotate. They have to defend this tower because, as I say, you can't kill the Naga Siren. You can't trade even because these guys are mowing down their towers. These towers don't regen. I mean, barracks regen HP, but towers don't. And this tower is gone.
Well, BKB's gonna get pop on Yamate. Now it's gonna be focusing on Brax back down to about half HP. Misery just, oh my god, the damage output of this Razer is absolutely insane. And X Freedom's gonna force half away, drops a stun, and he should be fine. They have to back off. HP is fairly low, or are they gonna even kill the birds? They do, but Naga's gonna be back in 13. He could just TP to mid tower, I think. Yeah, they're gonna just stay and wait for this. BKB on cooldown for about 50 seconds, so they can't engage kind of over aggressively.
Oh, they from 1437 just used the verse and they killed them again.
Oh my
god. So no verse on the Visage. It's kind of important right now because you lack those extra stuns, you lack the extra damage right now. And the cooldowns are wasted. There's still Eclipse, there's still what's the name of this? Sonic Wave. but there's no infest, there's no familiars, and it all will depend on whether Rubik can steal something useful, and he has nothing right now because he just died. So on the other side, Zenith has everything except wall, but that's okay because if they can get just a good sleep into an initiation, if they can get another Eye of the Storm, they can take the other tier 3 tower, and right now it's just a matter of waiting until the game ends for LGD.int, unless they do something extraordinarily well.
Yeah, Pycat's in a little bit of trouble right now. He's forced to pop the BKB, and I think if you're Zenith, you say, okay, yeah, we'll trade your BKB. Nice link steal, which is actually pretty decent. If you throw it on a particular hero, you force them back a little bit. But here comes the focus. Is he going to pop his ultimate? Yes, he will. He will start hitting the Raxes, and that Rax is not going to have a chance in hell surviving this siege. Well, that's the easiest melee Rax I've seen in a while.
Yep, there's nothing you can do to contest that, because you can't get close to those guys. The zoning, the amount of zoning that they can do, just by the range of their spells, just by the Radiance being there, just by the Eye of the Storm ticking every 0.5 seconds, it's really, really scary. And right now, LGD.int has to say, we have to have one good team fight to get back into this game, but that one good team fight is really hard to find against those heroes. And
yeah, I think
Pycat, you're in trouble.
I think the best thing they could do, and Pycat is, there's no stun, so you could TP out. The best thing they could do is probably pick off Darkseer, because he provides way too much defensive capabilities through the mech and pipe for his team.
Yep.
With the pipe up, your Sonic Wave and your Eclipse is really not going to do any damage.
But at the same time, does he have buyback? Yes, he has enough for buyback.
And he has a breach of travel.
And he has a bunch of travel.
Right.
So, meaning, if you focus Darkseer, he'll just buy back, go back to the fight. And it's like, sorry guys, have to kill me twice because I had kind of a free Aegis. And right now, this tier 2 tower, the last tier 2 tower, cannot be defended. Zenith will take it right now. And LGD.int can't farm anymore. They have to wait in their base. They have to just make do with whatever creeps get to their door. And Zenith can either go right now, and Misery is almost dying, by the way.
Two Nagas. Yeah.
Or they can just wait for the next Aegis and try to make things happen.
I mean, the next Aegis is 4 minutes. Zenith says, we will win now. I mean, look at Freedom's item. I just want to say that this is one of my favorite Alchemist game ever as a support Alchemist. He's got a Medallion first into Force Staff into Blink. This is real man mode when it comes down to support Alchemist. And I really like the choice of pushing the bot lane instead of mid as well, because it's further away from the top. And right now, LGD is so split in terms of, deciding to defend the bot, deciding to defend top. It's just more and more pressure. And these Naga Illusions, despite not being really tanky, they're tanky enough. I mean, Manta is going to be delivered out on the front, and I think once that Manta is going to come here, I think Zenith is going to come in.
Yep. Because right now, if the Orchid was a little bit annoying for the Naga, that Manta will make the Orchid pretty much pointless. And look at G, he can't really get close, and that Radiance burn, that Acid Spray, the damage from everyone. It's impossible to be next to that tower and try to defend right now. Zenith is playing the patient game, they're playing slow, they know that they can pretty much get the illusions. I mean, at this point,
I don't want to say Razer also has Scotty coming out.
Yeah.
Like, what is this?
Because why not, right?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, if you want to chase people, might as well do that. And yeah, here comes the pipe, here comes the illusion with the pipe, the illusion will zone people out, they have to focus on that. But now, because of that, they can't really defend the tower.
Yep.
Just sending the illusions, 75% HP for God just for being close by. 1437 also 80% HP. And Yamate is like, okay, I'm hitting your tower, I don't care, I have a Scotty, try to get close to me, try to mow him down. 12 armor, 2.5k HP, a BKB to pop if he wants to.
Well, they got to fight right now, and here comes G. He blinks to the back line. Is he going to drop any spells? He runs back and forth. They're going to focus on Jakira of all heroes while they blow him up, but here comes Freedom with a blink and a stun. Sound Siren is going to reset everything. They want Brax, or do they want G? Who do they want? I think Brax is the target. They're going to let him up, and well, I don't think he's going to survive. The drum's going to get activated. G's going to be on the back line. Here comes the net against Pycat. You cannot Manta out of it. He pops his ultimate, but all those illusions are going to block everything. Pycat's also going to melt, and one of the earliest GG we've seen. 32-minute G, well, not exactly the earliest GG, but Zenith, a convincing victory.
Very, very convincing victory for Zenith. They dominated from the get-go. The only thing that LGD.int had going for them was the bottom lane with Pycat.
Yep.
But when your Queen of Pain loses against Naga Siren, you know that something's wrong. And when 15 minutes into the game, you have a Beyond goal line Yamate on a Razer, I really don't know what to say there.
I mean, you talked about Razer not being a great trialing hero. You talk about the skill build that he needs to go for. I said Plasma feel pretty nice in that lane, but I just want to say you were correct, man. You go for the Link first. You go for the early level of the passive, and it just was very, very hard for them to kill it. They initiated him throughout all of the game to kill him. Couldn't get a single kill.
You know, I'm as much as I like to be correct about
And
that,
you are correct.
and I was correct. I have to say that it was a little bit of help from LGD.int. I think they didn't know how to react to the Razer pick. They were focusing on him. They were trying to get on the Razer, which you shouldn't because of that unstable current, because of the way static link works. They were doing something right, which is they were trying to contest the pulls, trying to get some experience out of the lane, and they were actually doing a great job to the point where the supports could keep up with the enemy supports as well. And even though Lifestealer was a little bit behind just by the nature of a trident that you can't really pull away from the carry when you're playing offensive, they were still doing kind of okay. If they kept doing that, if they didn't go greedy, they could have gone something that way. That Queen of Pain could have ganked later on. Even if she can't kill the Naga Siren, she can make something happen. Remember, Pika was doing a good time, having a good time bottom lane. Killed Darkseer twice. I think the Trilane went too greedy. They didn't understand how the Razer hero works, and they paid for it, and they paid greatly.
Yeah, and LGD was not able to snowball off that Luna, and
nope,
that was
and
pretty much all she wrote.
So
Let's send it back to the analysts and see what they think.
Nothing left to say. They covered it all.
I'll talk about some more things.
Okay,
I guess. So I think that LGD just played it wrong. I mean, sure, they pretty much went on the Razer the first time. He got static linked, and then they all died. They traded 2 for 1 at that point, and then after you trade 2 to 1 in the off lane as your aggressive triple lane, especially versus Razer, who pretty much hard counters Snakes, they need to change things up. What they tried to do instead was just keep throwing themselves at the Razer. First time at the T1, and then it just ended the same way, even worse. So I think they could have just rotated the triple lane down bottom, moved Nakes into the jungle, and just abandoned that lane, because Razer got free farm as is. There's no reason to feed him kills on top of the massive amounts of CS that he's already getting.
And the hero doesn't actually do that much with farm. It's not an anti-mage. It's not a Phantom Lancer. It's not a Faceless Void. It's not a hard carry. It's a hero that is perfect for these small skirmishes. The other thing I didn't like was that tri-lane, Lifestealer, Rubik, Visage, they don't have enough damage to make Soul Assumption that effective early on. You have
need
to
more
Rubik
burst.
Yeah, if you're going to run a Visage tri-lane, you need another hero that does damage. Something like an Earthshaker, a Keeper of the Light. When Rubik's the hero there, which you can see why they wanted him, because they needed a setup. Open Wounds is not a setup in a tri-lane, but when you have that, Visage isn't actually that useful. And against Razer, if you don't have burst, you lose, because he steals your damage and he kills you.
I also didn't like the item choice from Luna. He went BKB, but every time he just like BKB and ran away, and it's not very useful versus Zenith's lineup. They had a lot of BKB counters. They can either just Medallion encourage you and right click you. They had the static link, and they have Ensnare. So they have 3 things that BKB's not terribly useful against. And even though she got free farm, she did phenomenally farming bottom. She solo killed the Darkseer. She was level 7 when Darkseer was level 5, forced him to go into the jungle, took out the T1, but the farm pretty much amounted to nothing compared to how poorly top lane went. So if we could expand the Hexagon to Octagon, I would definitely give like an 8 or a 9 to creativity and flexibility to Zenith, and maybe like a 5, or according to Bruno's thing, maybe like a 2 or 3 for flexibility, just because they just like counted on their tri-lane winning, counted on Queen of Pain winning, and when those didn't happen, they just seemed like lost sheep. They didn't know what to do.
Yeah, LGDN they've been winning a lot of games off the back of G dominating his lane as well, and G got crushed in this game, which, in a matchup that you should do pretty well in. The Riptide is really hard to lane against with the changes to the cooldown, 10 seconds, but still, you're a Queen of Pain against a melee hero, you shouldn't be dying.
I feel like he should also just commit to the rune, because it takes a couple of seconds, or maybe like half a second, for the Naga to right click and kill the rune. But if you're just there and just spam right click on the rune itself, you can't actually get some runes. What he did was just sit in the lane. Naga had 1 at each rune, and then of course he's going to be able to get it if you're not actually there to contest it. There's 0 probability that he's going to get it if he's sitting in mid, but if he's sitting at either of the runes, that's 50% chance. That's much better than what he had.
Who needs Bruno? We have you. We have our second
One
stats man.
out of
You've got a
2.
challenger at least, Bruno. That's for sure. Guys, that's going to wrap up Game 1. It is a best of 3, however. Let's see if LGD can bounce back. If not, and they lose this next game, they will drop down to the lower bracket. It's your opening day. It's your opening game. 4 best of 3s headed your way for the Alienware Cups upper bracket action. Stay tuned.